I am moving my chair for this. She means business. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. She's gonna be a doozy, okay? I got mini mic attached to my turtleneck here, so I'm praying to God the audio actually works. Let's talk about what we're doing today. Today I have decided to go through my entire physical TBR. I have absolutely no idea how many books I haven't read that I own, and I would like to have at least somewhat of an understanding. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So I recently posted my 2024 Notion template, and I added a new feature with an entirely new database dedicated to your TBR, logging your TBR, your physical TBR, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, you can check out the video below. But I have my physical TBR little database pulled up here, and I'm just gonna be filling this out as I'm going along to try and get an understanding of how many books have I not read that I own. And I honestly think it's gonna be an embarrassing number. So that's great. I did not want to take all of the books off the shelves too, so we're just gonna be going like shelf by shelf, and I'm just gonna be like picking books out and telling you which ones I haven't read yet, and I'm gonna have a little counter somewhere on the screen to tally it all up. So shall we get started? Okay, so first shelf we got over here is the classics and the Bridgerton shelf. I honestly don't think, no, I've read one book on this shelf. That's bad. That's bad. This is gonna be a really embarrassing shelf. Shall we get started? Honestly though, are some of these on my TBR, or are they just here for the looks? You know what? I'm actually deciding I'm not gonna count the books that I don't wanna read. Honestly, some of these books are just here for vibes, like The Catcher in the Rye. Probably not gonna read it, to be honest with you. This is basically a bookshelf tour as well, because there's so many books I haven't read. Okay, so we have 100 Years of Solitude. I don't actually wanna read that. We have Emma by Jane Austen. Jane Eyre. Do I want to read that? I don't know. Mansfield Park and Sense and Sensibility. Next up we have Picture of Dorian Gray, and we have the entire Bridgerton series. Still haven't read any of those. The Duke and I, The Viscount Who Loved Me, An Offer from a Gentleman, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, To Sir Philip with Love, When He Was Wicked, It's in His Kiss, and On the Way to the Wedding. Honestly, all these books right here, vibes. They're just there to look cute. I don't actually think I want to read them. Other ones we got Rebecca and As I Walked Out One Midsummer Morning. Okay, next shelf here is like my literary fiction shelf. I've read a handful of books on here, but there is probably half that I haven't read yet. This One Sky Day, Night Crawling, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, Commonwealth, Intimacies, Never Let Me Go, Cloud Cuckoo Land, A Place for Us. This is shame. This is a shame. This has been top TBR for a long time and I haven't read it. Cleopatra and Frankenstein, and Berlin. Also, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, if you see any books on here that you are interested in having me read, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to know which books you're interested in having me reading, because trying to actually take some damage to how many books that I am cataloging today. This shelf is more like literary fiction. Probably not read about half these books on this shelf as well. 7 Days in June, Homegoing, Daisy Hates, Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, Writers and Lovers, Motherhood, One True Loves, Our Missing Hearts, The End of Men, The Trees, A Man Called Uva, The Book of Form and Emptiness, Still Life, The Sentence, The Island of Missing Trees. I actually really want to read this, like really, really bad. Please ignore all of the cords you're about to see. There's only one plug in this room, hence I have cords everywhere. Yolk, Mary H.K. Choi, books 2 through 8 in Spy Family, A Promised Land, All Boys Aren't Blue, The Emperor of All Maladies, Hood Feminism, The 4-Hour Workweek, Traction, Meditations. Remember, those are all my Productivity Bro books. Don't judge me. Okay, we have like more like mystery thriller type stuff here with a little bit of fantasy. The Mad Ship, Ship of Magic, Confessions, Empire of the Vampire, The Bandit Queens, Gideon the Ninth, House of Leaves, The Change, Devil in the Dark Water. And the lowest shelf here is like Book of the Month books. Also, You See Me Wearing Sweatpants, No You Didn't. A lot of these I don't have the covers for, so I'm just gonna tell you what they are. A Woman Is No Man, The Prophets, The Death of Vivek Oji, Dominicana, The Night Tiger. The Book of Cold Cases, Vladimir by Julia May Jones, Siren Queen by Nhi Vo, The Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane, Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. And lastly, Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. Okay, so that was this entire shelf. We're about to move on to the next one, but before we get started on that, there are a few books that are in other areas of my house that I haven't talked about yet that I just thought I would include here because we're about to get into like Brandon Sanderson stuff. So all of these are like the Brandon Sanderson leather-bound hardbacks, and all of these are obviously by Brandon Sanderson. We have Tress of the Emerald Sea, The Sunlit Man. This one is Shadows of Self, The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, The Alloy of Law, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. And then some other random books that I have, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, Frostheart 2 by Jamie Littler, Polar Bear Explorers Club by Alex Bell, and Northchild by Edith Patu. Okay, let's get into the high fantasy. Okay, if it wasn't embarrassing with that shelf, it's about to get way more embarrassing now. Here we go. The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. The entire Game of Thrones series. I know this isn't the whole series, and one of them is somewhere else, and then we lost another one of these books. So I guess that's 4 total books. The Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, Dance with Dragons, and then we have a Game of Thrones somewhere else. A Slow Regard for Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss, Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, A Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Okay, this entire shelf is completely unread by me. This is all of the Wheel of Time series. The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan, Knife of Dreams, Towers of Midnight, Shadow Rising, The Fires of Heaven, Lord of Chaos, A Crown of Swords, The Path of Daggers, Gathering Storm, A Memory of Light, A Winter's Heart, Crossroads of Twilight. I already mentioned The Gathering Storm, and these are just like the hardback covers of The Wheel of Time, and then Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. I've started this book literally 10 times. I will be reading it before the 5th one comes out, I promise. Here's A Chance at Redemption. This is my Sarah J. Maas shelf. I've read at least half of the books on here. So the ones I haven't read yet, House of Sky and Breath, I'm reading that in 1 week. A Court of Silver Flames, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. Little bit of redemption there, pretty proud of that. Next up, this is like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Obviously, I've read all of Harry Potter, haven't read The Hobbit, and this is the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. Haven't read any of those. All right, and here we have more fantasy and some sci-fi. Kind of mentioned this one earlier, but this is a Game of Thrones. Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin, Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, Malice by John Gwynne, Wolf Song by T.J. Klune, Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco, Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco, Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson, Dune by Frank Hebert. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to read this one though, but it's here. Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, and Upgrade by Blake Crouch. Okay, all my cords are down here, so just don't look. This shelf is like middle grade and YA. The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Okay, so honestly, that shelf wasn't as bad as I thought. It was just a lot of Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan at the top, but I mean, still have a dent to be made there. This entire cart is the TBR cart, so none of these books are read. Hyperion by Dan Simmons, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano, Dark Corners by Megan Golden, and Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. All right, and last top shelf we have here, This Is How to Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Motar. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've read about 100 pages of this, and I kind of soft DNF it, but I'm still putting on the TBR because I would like to finish it at some point. The Razor's Edge by W. Somerset Maugham. Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. The People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihara. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. The Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, The Flesh, and LA by Eve Babbitt. This was gifted to me by Lachlan. I love you. I cannot wait to read this book. I'm so excited. Okay, so that is my entire physical TBR. There's one other book on here that wasn't added to the shelf, and that's on like my shelf of shame out there, like, which is a shelf full of like the books I'm trying to unhaul. But there's one book on there, Golden Fool by Robin Hobb, that I want to add to this video. I am gonna go and start editing this video and catalog all of these books. I will check in with you once I know the final total. Wish me luck. Truly have no words. I just finished editing the video, and in total it was 154 books, and then there was one more that I found, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, so it makes it 155 total books I have on my unread physical TBR. Woof! That is so embarrassing. I want to crawl under my sweatshirt and just go into a hole and never come back to BookTube. That is unreal. real. Like, dude, I was editing the video and I'm like, do I even post this? This is so bad. Wake up call, alarms going off. Burp, burp, burp. We need to make a difference in that. This really made me come to my senses, and this is what I need to do. I either need to do some try a chapter videos where I like take a handful of books I've been putting off reading for a long time, try a chapter in 5 of them, see if I like them, and if I don't, unhaul them, because that's too many books, bro. It's too much. I will say, not all of those books have gone completely unread in our household. Like, all of the books, those Brandon Sanderson books, the Robert Jordan books, pretty much any sci-fi or fantasy book I have mentioned in this video has been read by my husband. So it's not like the books are not getting read. They just haven't been read by me, okay? I will tell you, everything on this shelf, the first shelf that I went through, he doesn't read any of those books. So that's on me. But the sci-fi fantasy category, a lot of those books have been read. This is a disaster. I have some work to do in the physical TBR department, and I don't think I'm going to allow myself to buy a book again until I can at least get it under, like, please, can we get it under 100? Like, can we do that? Considering my reading speed, I'm not gonna be able to buy another book for like 2 years. Woof. Either that or I just have to do an unhaul and like get rid of books that I'm genuinely not gonna read. Like, I just need to be cutthroat with myself and be like, Kara, are you actually gonna read this? Are you actually gonna do it? Please leave some comments down below of books that you are interested in seeing me read that were mentioned in this video. Also, give me some feedback if there are books that you read that you were like, hey, don't think you would like that, and maybe I'll get rid of it, because we just need to cut back. You know, I used to be in this phase of minimalism when I was in college, and I need to revert back to those ways because it's too much. The good news is it's not like exploding. Like, I'm not overflowing with books by any means. I have like 2 bookshelves and that's enough for me. But woof, bro, 155 books. Oh my God. Girl, I better get reading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't shame me, okay? I'm already doing that to myself. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we are going to need to check up on this in about a year or 2 and see how much of a dent we made. So peace and love, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next one. Bye.